What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Today's video is going to be very exciting because I'm going to be talking about my experience running the Long Beach half marathon last weekend. It just happened. It was such a cool experience and I'm so excited to share with you guys like my whole experience running my first ever official half marathon. And then also I have a couple of tips for newbies because going into it, I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the norm was. So I hope this video helps someone out that's going to go and run a half marathon and has some questions. I hope I can answer them for you. So I did get some footage on race day, but it is a little chaotic. It was just very early in the morning. The race started at 7 a.m. So Long Beach is actually an hour away from where my boyfriend lives. So we had to get up at 5:30 a.m. and really hightail it out of there. So don't have a ton of footage, but everything that I have from race day, I will play now. All right, fit of the half marathon. We got this Lululemon Swiftly. I talk about these all the time. I absolutely love running in them. I almost didn't want to wear this because it's so nice and I don't want to get holes in it from putting my bib on, but hopefully it'll be okay. I didn't want to wear anything else, so that was kind of just what was going to happen. And then I am wearing underneath the Outdoor Voices Doing Things bra, favorite bra to run in. And then these are Lululemon Choose a Side short. And then I have these Adidas Solar Glides, which I find to just be a little more comfy than Ultra Boost. Sometimes I'll run in Ultra Boost, but these I definitely get the least amount of blisters or calluses. And I also have the Features Peloton socks that I talk about in my athletic haul on. So yeah, feeling good, good outfit. It's definitely early, but let's go. I'm ready and I have my Apple Watch. Fun. All right, let's go run a half marathon. I finished. I'm with Chris now. We got a bunch of, oh my gosh, there's a corgi. I saw that corgi while I was racing at mile 5 and I was like, this is a sign. But yeah, they gave us a bunch of free stuff. I'm gonna chug this chocolate milk. I'm kind of afraid I'm gonna throw up, but it sounds so good. And then yeah, banana chip water. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then we'll regroup. It's very hectic. Definitely a very fun time. And now I'll kind of talk through my experience. The race started actually a day before when you had to go pick up your bib. You have a couple of options with picking up your bib, which is just the piece of paper with your number on it to identify you. You can either pick it up at the expo or pay for it to be mailed to you, or pick it up on the race day, but keep in mind that the race starts very early. So if you're picking up bib on race day, you're gonna have to get up even earlier. But I recognize some people have to do that. But I was fortunate enough that I could go pick it up the day before. I was actually flying from San Francisco. I was visiting some friends up there. So I flew into LAX and then we drove down to Long Beach. My boyfriend was very nice and came with me and he just dropped me off. It was even a little chaotic at the expo. We definitely went very close to closing. And if I run this race again in the future, I would want to go earlier in the day. They have a bunch of vendors and also other athletic stores selling stuff. There was Athleta and they were were selling like clothes. And then a lot of other like Super Coffee was there, an energy drink company was there. Like there was just a lot happening, but I was kind of there to like get my bib and get out. So first I went through the security line, and because of laws in Los Angeles surrounding COVID, you either had to prove that you had the vaccine or have a negative test, I believe, in like the past 3 days. I have the vaccine, so I'm not 100% sure like what the rules were around providing the negative COVID test. But for the vaccine, it was really easy. You just uploaded a picture of your vaccination card to this app called Crowd Pass, and then they gave you a QR code that basically said like, yeah, you're good to go. Like we validate that this is a legitimate vaccine card. So showed that going in, and then I got a green band that shows that I'm like verified to run it. It was unclear if I had to leave the green band on for the race. Like no one said anything to me. I probably should have asked, but I was like, whatever, like I'm running this race in like 12 hours, so I'll just leave it on. And I think that you needed to have it on for the race because a lot of other people were also wearing it. So I'm glad that I left it on. And this expo was also open Friday and Saturday. So it kind of would have stinked to go on Friday and then had that band on all weekend. I don't know. I don't like those bands. They like annoy me when I'm asleep, but besides the point, I didn't have to have it on for very long, so it was okay for me. And then once I got the green band, I went into the expo, got my bib number. That was super straightforward. Basically, I just went up and they're like, what number do you need? And I'm like, this number. And they're like, okay, here you go. And then once you have the bib, you can go pick up your t-shirt. When you sign up online, like you say what size and stuff. So just went. They got me my t-shirt, very easy process. And then I grabbed like an energy drink on the way out because I'm like, it's free and like might as well try energy drinks. And then I just like got out of there because my boyfriend was like illegally parked, because otherwise you had to pay $15 to park in like the parking structure. But it was okay because my boyfriend didn't mind just like chilling in the car while I ran in and got my bib. So that was pretty much Saturday. And then Sunday morning, I think we woke up at 5:20 a.m. and the idea was kind of just like leave as soon as possible. I got a coffee because I need caffeine before I run. And then I also had a Kirkland protein bar, which I love those. They're so good, and some grapes before my run. And I thought that that would kind of be enough to sustain me. And I think that it was, in hindsight, like that was a good breakfast for me. And then again, my boyfriend dropped me off just because he was going to like find parking somewhere else. Like it was obviously a very big production. There was the marathon going on that day. There were like 5,000 people in the half marathon. So lots of cars. So he dropped me off, and from there it was pretty easy to follow like the mob of runners that had their bibs to the starting line. The day before, I was like frantically looking up if you could wear headphones during a race. My boyfriend has actually run a half marathon before in Baltimore, but he didn't do it like very seriously. He kind of just like decided to run a half marathon because it was part of like an organization he was in, and he thought that I could wear them. And that, but he's like, I don't know. I don't think I wore them. Like, I didn't bring my phone at all. And I'm like, well, I would like to have headphones if I'm going to go on this like 2-hour run, because otherwise I'm going to be super bored. Like all of my training is with headphones. And I'm like looking it up and it's like, oh, like elite runners, they don't need headphones. Like they wouldn't wear them. And I'm like, well, I'm not an elite runner, but you can wear headphones. So I had my AirPods. I also had like a strap that went around my arm that I borrowed from my boyfriend last minute, because usually I just carry my phone when I run, but after wearing the strap that you can like slide your phone in, I definitely want one of those, or like one of those waistbands that you can slip your phone in. If you've tried both, like let me know which one you like more, because I definitely want to get one. Like running without a phone is very nice, but I need my phone because I need my headphones. I had my Apple Watch, I had my sports clothes on. I didn't bring any water because there were like a lot of water breaks. There was like a water break almost every 2 miles. So I wasn't very concerned about like getting enough water. But other people did have water, so it's like really whatever you want to do, you can do, basically whatever it makes you the most comfortable. So we get to the starting line. I have my phone ready to run, and a really big thing that the Long Beach half marathon was stressing was that there were going to be 4 waves. So there was going to be a wave starting at 7 a.m., which is elite runners. hour and a half or less time, which is not me. I'm not running this in an hour and a half. And then there was a 7:10 wave, which was, I think, around 1:30 to 1:55. And I was like, okay, that's probably what I need to go in. And then a third wave at 7:20, that was 2 hours to like 2.5. And then 7:30, which is the fourth wave, and that was like 2.5 hours plus. So I was like, all right, I'm like pretty much right at the end of wave 2 or the beginning of wave 3. Like, we'll see what the vibes are when I get there. So I get there, and then this is where the chaos starts. So the organizers of the race, like, there's a bunch of people that are like, I don't know, volunteering to tell you information. The first guy is like, if you are in this corral, like, you are the slowest runners, like, go to the next corral. Like, this is the last corral. And I'm like, okay, like, I am not here. I'm definitely faster than like 2.5 hours. So I go to the next corral and I'm standing there. And then a guy is like, if you are not an elite runner, like, you should not be in this corral. Like, get to the other corral. So basically there's only like 2 corrals at this point, and people are very confused. Like, there's a bunch of people that look like me that are like semi-fit, but not like super fit, just kind of standing and looking confused. There are pacers that run in this race, and they like hold a stick with the time that they are pacing for. So like 2 hours, 1 hour and 55 minutes. There's a pacer for like every 5 minutes from like 1:30 to like 2:30, I think. There's a lot of pacers. So I'm looking at the slowest corral, and at the slowest corral, the first pacer is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and he's like right at the front. So I'm like, this is not right. So I'm just gonna like chill out at the back of the first corral and like see what happens. Like, maybe I won't have to go with the first wave and they'll like still do waves. And overall, just like very confused. Also, I got there probably around 6:40, 6:45-ish, because I thought I was going to start at 7:10. But now that I'm in the first wave, I'm going to start at 7. So like, there's not a lot of time for decision making. Everybody else around me is also confused. So I'm like, okay, you know, we'll just see what happens when 7 a.m. comes around. So 7 a.m. comes around and they're like, all right, like, let's start. So also the bib has like chip technology. My bicycle race that I did like a month ago also had this, but it was like a big chip. Like, this was just in the bib. It must like scan it somehow, where it's like a rolling start. So if you don't go over the start line, like right when they say go, it'll be subtracted out of your time at the end. Like, I think I went over the start line like 2 minutes and 5 seconds, like after they said go, and then it's like subtracted from my time at the end. Technology is pretty cool. So then basically we're starting, we're going, people are going. The guy that is like announcing that the 2-hour pacer is going over the start line, and I am behind that. So I'm like, oh no, this is not right. Like, I should be in front of the 2-hour pacer. I had run some practice half marathons and my time was like around 1:55. So that was kind of my goal time going in, around there, under 2 hours. So I was like, oh no, like, okay, I need to go with this group, and then I need to like pass a bunch of people. So I get across the start line at like 7:02 a.m. and I'm like, all right, like, time to pass all these people. Because especially for me, I am not a good pacer. I have tried to work on it, and it's something that I want to work on in the future, but I go faster at the beginning. Like, the first like 6 miles is like a minute faster than my last 6 miles. So I'm just like, okay, like, I need to get in front of these people. So I passed a bunch of people. It was like not hard to do because you're not on a bike, like, you're running, so it's like not a big deal to pass people. And people are also like passing and falling back. Like, people are not organized in these waves at all. So the first mile was probably just kind of like pure chaos of like setting into a groove and like catching up to the people that I should be with. I fell in line with the 1 hour and 50-minute pacer for like probably the first 5-ish miles. I knew that was a little fast for me, but like I said, I run faster at the beginning and then I just naturally slow down. So I was okay with it. The views were very good. I tried to get film. I know it's going to be shaky that you saw, but it was very beautiful. I would say probably like 40% of the race was just on the sidewalk, like next to the beach, and that was absolutely stunning. I will say it was brighter than I thought it would be. I didn't really think about it, but there's no like trees or anything, so the sun was just kind of beating down on you. But I don't know if I'd want to like run with sunglasses in the future. And I did listen to outdoor Peloton running classes during pretty much the entire half marathon. That's what I always run to. And honestly, the Beck's Gentry Women's History Month run where she talks about like the first woman running in the Boston Marathon. Super, super interesting story. That's like my comfort run at this point. I've taken it so many times and I don't even really pay attention to like what she said. I just find when I run to my own music, I'm like really fidgety. Like I always want to change the song. So it's really easy for me to just like queue up a Peloton run and just like deal with the music because I'm like, I can't really skip it. So listen to that the whole time. I had my AirPods on like transparency mode so I could kind of hear what was going on around me. But besides that, super good experience, super fun. Definitely got very tired towards the end. I knew that I was going to have to walk for a little bit of it. I had never like ran 13 miles without walking. If I had better pacing, I probably could, but alas, I don't. Something I accepted. So I probably walked for around 5 minutes total, and I didn't walk until 9 miles in. I try to push it off as much as possible because it is, for me at least, once I start walking, it's really hard for me to like get back to running and then I just like want to walk again. There were also lots of water breaks. They also gave out Noon, which is just like liquid IV or Cure Hydration. It's just another one of those electrolyte multipliers. So that was really nice to drink. There was also a pretzel break, and towards the end, there was a lot of food. There were gel packs, like during the race, they were giving these out, gel packs. There were donuts, I think by Lululemon. There were like more snacks. Like in the last mile, there was so much food, and I'm like, I just want to finish this race. Like, I'm not trying to eat right now. I'm just trying to get to the end. So I thought that that was interesting. I wonder, because we like share some of the path with marathoners, if like that's more meant for the marathoners. There were also really large groups of people cheering you on. There were some funny signs. Like one person had a sign that was like, "Did you know it's faster to Uber?" And someone else was like, "Oh, this isn't the Short Beach Marathon." So I thought that it was really cool to like have the community that was like cheering you on. My boyfriend was close to the finish line, so it was cool to see him like cheer for me right at the end. And yeah, it was really cool to just like run with a pack of people. I've never really done that before. So it was definitely motivational. And then I finally finished, very tired at the end. If you watch the video, I literally just like stop running immediately. Once I cross the finish line, I'm like, I am done. And my final time adjusted for the like delay in the beginning was 1 hour and 54 minutes and 53 seconds, which I was very, very happy with that time. That is an 8:46 average pace, which very happy with, no complaints. Also on the results website, it breaks it down. I guess they must have had somewhere like recording your times as you go through the miles. So for the first 5.25 miles, my average pace was 7:56. And then in the next 5.25 miles, my pace was 8:51. And then when I finished, it was 8:46. So you can see like towards the end, I'm really dragging it up, which is what I expected. Like I definitely want to get better with pacing, but for the first race, not upset with it at all. In my division, which is female, I believe 20 to 24, I'm 23. I placed 10th, which super excited about. That's very cool. I was 143rd in females overall, and I was 661 overall for males and females. So that is pretty cool. Like almost 5,000 people run this marathon. So I placed pretty well, like not upset about it at all. And it was just a super cool experience. And then when you finish, it is the best part. Everybody's just like handing you a ton of snacks. I got a banana, I got water, I got my personal favorite, which was chocolate milk. I got a protein bar. They were offering gels, but I don't really like gels. So I was like, nah. Got some potato chips. I was jamming out. I met up with my boyfriend. It was like kind of disorienting just because it was such a long run. I had ran a half marathon before in my training, but just a lot happening, a lot of people around. So we went to the bathroom, sat down for a little bit. I ate my banana, drank my chocolate milk. That was very nice. And then we took pictures and then pretty much left. There were more vendors like giving out free stuff. So you could get like a free coffee or like more energy drinks. My boyfriend and I got coffees, but I was like, I don't need anything else really that they're giving out. And then you also, I think, got a free beer. Like it was advertised that you'd get a free beer, but it was like 9 a.m. I'm like, I don't want a beer. I just ran like 13 miles. But I guess if you're like with a group of friends, maybe it would be fun. But I was like, nah, like I'm just ready to dip. I'm tired. So then we left and that was pretty much it. And then I could like track my results online and they were available very quickly. Like I didn't check them immediately, but when we were sitting down and eating our snacks, then I did check it and I was already in the system. So that was very, very cool. And that is pretty much my entire half marathon experience. One last thing is I also didn't know where to put the bib, and I just looked up pictures and people put the bib on the front, which I think is interesting because in cycling, everybody puts the bib on the back. If you know why that is, I guess let me know. I feel like it's kind of nice to have them on the back because then it's easier to identify people, like if you're with the same people the whole time. But it's also on the front. They like took pictures and then can link it to my bib really easily. So I'm guessing like that's why people wear it on the front. But if you're gonna run a half marathon or a marathon, bib probably goes on the front. I have 4 quick tips for beginners, or if anyone wants to take these tips, feel free. So the first one is go to a running shoe store and get fitted for running shoes. I actually did this the day after the half marathon. I was running in Adidas Ultra Boost and I also have Adidas Solar Glides, basically for no reason. I should have definitely bought professional running shoes earlier, but I got into running during COVID and like none of those stores were open. So then I just kind of got these shoes and I'm like, oh, they're fine for like the 5 to 6 mile runs I'm going on. But especially just looking into the future, my legs hurt more, and I think it's because when I went to the running shoe store they said that I like run kind of like with my feet turned in and that the shoes I bought should like help with that. So I'm hoping that does in the future. Like I had some sore muscles after the race, so I'm hoping that, like, obviously you're always going to have a little bit of soreness, but I'm hoping that these running shoes will definitely help me, and especially going into future half marathons, like I definitely plan to keep running. I'm excited that now I have like professional running shoes. I think that they are worth the investment. The second is to not deviate from what you normally do on runs. If you normally listen to music, like keep listening to music. Obviously, if you're like some huge awesome elite runner that is trying to like get a Boston Marathon qualifier or something, like don't do it then. Like that, I don't know why you'd be taking any tips from me, but if you like are just a casual runner and you want to listen to music, like don't be intimidated. A lot of people had headphones in, like it's totally fine. I personally think I would have been very bored on a 2-hour run with no music. I just like don't have the motivation to keep going without music. So I don't regret that at all. My third is to definitely have some sort of phone holder. Almost nobody like ran with their phone in their hands. There were a couple people, but it's really up to you. I think that the one that my boyfriend let me was very comfortable, and I'm excited to like invest in one myself and have that on future runs. And then my fourth tip is to not like stress out about a goal time. My goal time was like basically under 2 hours, but even going into it, I'm like, I'm really okay if I don't hit this time. It's very hectic. I feel like going into another half marathon in the future, I'll know more what to expect, but especially with like the corrals at the beginning, I was like very much what is happening. I'm worried, and it all turned out fine and I hit my goal time, but I was like, if I don't hit my goal time, like it's totally fine. I tried my best. I'm just excited to like get out there and try something that I've never tried before. So those are my tips. I guess let me know if you have any down below for my next half marathon. I'm not exactly sure when I will be running it. I kind of just saw this half marathon pop up. I forget how I found it. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to be in Los Angeles at the time. It looks like beautiful pathing. Like I've always wanted to get into running them, and I'm excited to continue running them in the future. So that's it for this video. Also a huge shout out to like Peloton for even getting me to this point. If you told me a year, 2 years ago that I was running a half marathon, I would be very, very surprised. And I'm very, very happy with my time and my progress, and I'm excited to keep running. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!